see why I'm a Stan Edwards groupie. I'd like to give anybody the opportunity to share a story about Harry. We did this up at our little church up in McDonough, and it's a pretty interesting story. So who wants to go first? As soon as they break the ice, would you? Don't make me go first.
I'm here on Tuesday. I see some familiar faces. I see some I don't recognize. One of the stories I told about Harry was when he asked me to help him rebuild an automobile engine. I said, sure, we was a teenager. We loved to get into that kind of thing. So I went over to his house. He had it in the garage. Had the engine torn halfway apart. So I got up under the car and I was loosening some bolts. I heard somebody coming down the stairs. I looked over there and saw Harry's mother come out there, and she said, Harry, what are you doing? I said, uh-oh. But I'm taking this engine apart and rebuilding it. She said, how am I going to get groceries? This is the only car we got. I thought, it's time for me to go home. I know there's some people with some other stories here. Harry got around. He was a Dixon man, so he's one of a kind. They broke the mold when they made him. He did his own thing. He marched to his own drum. Doc, you got any more?
Yeah, how about you got one, Ken? How about that?
Well, Harry was a likable person. He was different. He was a salesman. He was a free bird. He didn't worry about it too much. One of the things I remember about Harry is me and Clark run around together a lot and got to know Harry real good. And like I said before, he was a salesman, got to be a pretty good job. So he had this little car, and when he'd go home or whatever, he'd go around this curve, and he got to where every day he would try to see a little bit faster how fast he could go around that curve. Well, he rolled the car over, dashed the top down, he came back over. It didn't hurt him, but of course he had to still do his job and everything. So he cut the top off the car. He took one of those office chair plastic that goes down on the carpet. He took one of them and cut it and screwed it to the front of the car, made him a windshield. Got his suit on, his tie flapping in the breeze. We went up to meet him one day, in the afternoon sometime. We'd go by and shoot food or do something like that. So he was a likable person and liked people. We got there, he had parked the car down the road where people couldn't see it. But anyway, we got there, and I don't know how many people there. There was several people, but he had become total friends with everybody. They were all having a good time. You'd think they were best of friends. That's just the way Harry was. That's the way I remember. He was a unique, different person.
That's true. Tom, you got one, I know. How about it, Bill? You got one?
Well, the only thing I've got is secondhand. Came from Clark. I knew Harry, but he was 4 or 5 years younger than me. So I didn't run around with Harry, but I met him. He was always tinkering with something, always doing something. But I found out from Clark that Harry and my sister were really good friends, and I didn't know that. A lot of people came into our house when we were young. A lot of different young people came in. I found out that Harry would come over there to see my sister. When my sister wasn't there, he'd just stay there and visit with my mother and daddy. So just about every teenager loved my mother. My daddy, maybe a different question.
Eddie, you got one?
Well, I don't really have anything from his childhood. Of course, I only met Uncle Harry when I was a young man, and Uncle Harry Uncle Harry liked to drink, and that's not a secret, I don't think, to anybody, but I never saw Uncle Harry be mean to anybody. I've never heard, in all the years I've known him, I've never heard him yell at anybody or be mean to anybody. Uncle Harry was always nice to me, and I loved him. you know, and I'm glad that I got to be here today just to celebrate his life and, you know, hear some of these stories. And I do remember as a kid thinking, he's going to fly that? Because it didn't have wings, and it was inside its garage, and it was half built, and he did it, though. He got it put together, and he flew that thing, you know. I won't say it ran out of gas one time, but I don't know. But I love my Uncle Harry, and I'm going to miss him. He always included my girls, you know. I have 4 daughters, and you know, at Christmas it wasn't much, but he always would give us a little something, you know, every year, and that meant a lot to me. This year he gave us silver coin, you know, and he didn't have, but see, I got a lot of girls, you know, but he didn't have, I think 6, and one of my daughters brought her boyfriend, and he ended up giving the coin to him, and anyway, but we got it all straightened out, and it was cool. But we have those tokens, you know, and little things that he's given us over the years. And you thought, you know, what am I going to do with this silver coin, you know? But I was holding it the other day, you know, and just looking at it and thinking about all the times that we shared together, and he's going to be missed. And every you know, Christmas and every time my mama made a meal, he was there. And I can't say I blame him for that.
Anybody else?
You can elaborate on his highway
Tell about the plane.
landing.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I just happen to have a few words.
You had to operate this now.
I don't know how to operate that.
Well, I'll let Ken do it.
What are you gonna do?
Operate.
Just shine it up on me.
Is it running this
It's
time?
running right now. One of Harry's friends was a nurse, and she brought up a point that I guess I knew it, but I didn't know it. But she came out and said, you know, Harry's brain doesn't work like the rest of us. He looks at things differently. She's got a point there. A lot of us friends of Harry and brothers, Ken, we always said he had one chromosome short of being a genius. And I believe that chromosome was the chromosome of urgency, because he never got in a hurry. He was always patient. If he could have really ever strapped everything together, he might have been another Bill Gates or something. But he didn't get in a hurry. You ever been to lunch with him, a lunch hour with him? You didn't go to a lunch hour. You went to a lunch 2 hours. You'd end up finishing and waiting on him to finish eating because he couldn't talk and eat at the same time. So hurry up, Harry, we got to go. But same way when we'd be doing a job, he couldn't work and talk at the same time. So generally, we'd be out at the customer's house, and I just use Harry to keep the customer off of me while I did the work. A lot of you may remember we used to have paper routes, and so I said, Dad, it's getting hard on this bicycle. I said, I'm delivering an Atlanta Journal, and it's bigger, the heavier, the people are further apart. I said, I need one of them mopeds down here at Sears. So we went down there and we got one. And I throwed papers on that thing. I got throwed up on the hoods of trucks. I had it slide out from under me down there on the Cherokee going across the grass, and papers went everywhere. Anyway, that thing just got dogged out. So I just took that thing, shoved it over in the corner. And Peanut, you remember, we used to chase people down Hilton Avenue on that thing. We'd lay out a garden hose, and they would think it was a snake. And we'd get behind them. We had 2 or 3 of them pull over. Anyway, we just wore slap out. And Harry said, what you gonna do with that moped? I don't care about it. It's all wore. It ain't never gonna run again. So I done graduated the car then, so I was coming down Hilton Avenue one day, and I stopped there at the railroad tracks, and I heard this high pitch. I looked down there, and it's Harry and Galtney coming down the railroad tracks, arms and legs flying all over the place. Whoa, he had that thing going, and they was traveling on it. Another incident that Eddie mentioned was him running out of gas. He loaded up the family and they went up to Knoxville, Tennessee. And he forgot to calculate a couple of joyrides that he took his friends up.
You forgot to say it was a plane. You forgot to say it was a plane.
Calculate that in.
It was in a plane, Clark.
Yeah.
You forgot to tell that.
Yeah, he was in a plane. Okay.
That's a big
So, Glenn and I were sitting there one night, we were watching the news, and they said, a Snellville man has landed his plane in the middle of 316. Linda said, that looks like Harry. I said, that is Harry. So, I wished I had the newspaper order. He made the newspaper, but I can't find it.
He was
But anyway.
running up with a can of gasoline.
Well, yeah, he landed that thing out there. And somehow he talked the policeman, I'm sure it wasn't the Georgia Highway Patrol, it might have been the Littleton Police or some yoke-doke. Anyway, he talked them into taking him down to the filling station and get some gas and run him back. And the picture in the newspaper is him up on top of that plane pouring gas in it. They cleared the road, the highway, and let him take off. And he went on home. He was crazy about that. But out there at the Stone Mountain Experimental Aircraft Association chapter, they said he was truly a pilot that could fly by the seat of his pants. But that's all we got. We appreciate everybody being here to help remember Harry. He has flown away. He's in a better place than you and I. He's in a place where we hope to be. So thank you very much. Feel free to hang around and reminisce.
All right, Clark.